What's up, vetters? Patrick here. We have a great video for y'all today. Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich recently did an interview where she dropped new details about the 2004 Nimitz UFO encounter. You know, the one with the Tic Tac. But before we get to highlights of this interview with Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich, let's go back in time and get a little refresher course on the 2004 Nimitz encounter. The 2004 Nimitz incident refers to a series of Navy pilot encounters with unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs or UFOs, specifically a Tic Tac shaped object near the USS Nimitz carrier strike group off the coast of Southern California in November of 2004. Here's a more detailed breakdown. The encounter. During a training exercise, Navy pilots, including Commander David Fravor and Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich, reported seeing a Tic Tac shaped object that defied explanation, exhibiting unusual speed and maneuverability. Radar anomalies. The object was first detected on radar, and its behavior was described as erratic and difficult to track. Visual confirmation. Fravor and Dietrich visually intercepted the object, describing it as a white, smooth, and Tic Tac shaped object. No official investigation. While the Navy confirmed the authenticity of the videos and the pilot's accounts, there was no official investigation into the incident, according to Fravor. Media attention. The incident gained significant media attention, and the Pentagon later released videos of the encounters, which are now known as Pentagon UFO videos. Unexplained phenomena. The videos and pilot accounts sparked considerable debate and speculation about the nature of the objects, with some suggesting extraterrestrial origins, while others attributed them to new or undisclosed technologies. Current status. The incident remains a subject of ongoing interest and discussion, with the Pentagon and other government agencies continuing to investigate UAPs. And if you remember, Commander David Fravor testified in July of 2023 in front of Congress, right, about this particular incident. Alex Dietrich never testified, but she's gone on the record a few times about this incident. But like I said, in this interview, she dropped some new details I'd never heard before about this incident. So let's dive in.
I don't think that the controller expected us to see anything, and that they were as surprised as we were when we had this intercept, this rendezvous with something strange that to this day I cannot explain, I cannot identify, and it really wasn't clear how it was maneuvering in the way that it was moving. It was changing airspeed, it was changing direction, it was changing angles in a way that didn't make sense and didn't adhere to our understanding of physics and gravity. And by definition, it's a unidentified flying object.
Take me through coming up on this object. What did you see first that made you go, what the heck is that?
So I was new to the squadron. I was a lieutenant junior grade and on the wing of the commanding officer, Commander David Fravor. He had a senior lieutenant in his backseat, and I had a department head, a lieutenant commander in my backseat. So I was hanging on, trying to make sure that I didn't make any gaffes or goofs, and trying to just be a good wingman, which means keeping sight of your lead, not hitting them, not getting lost, and showing up as the support that you need to be. So as we came to the merge plot, which is where the radar points, come together on the scope, we've transitioned our scan to outside. Instead of looking at our instruments, looking and scanning the horizon and scanning around. And so amongst the four of us, somebody shouted out, "Hey, look in the water!" And when I looked down, I saw a strange churning in the water. So there was a otherwise calm ocean, and then this bit of white water that was churning with no apparent source. So it didn't seem to be a vessel or anything there. And if it hadn't been for that white water, and I don't know if it's related, but if it hadn't been for that as an anchor point for my for my tally, I don't think that I would have picked up the actual UFO itself, because that flew very close to it. And from there, I saw this strange thing that we affectionately termed the Tic Tac, because it looks like a little breath mint. And when I say little, I mean, from a distance, it's small, but we estimated that it's about the size of our own fuselage. So about 30 to 40 feet long and smooth, just like a Tic Tac breath mint, sort of a matte white color with no windows, no flight control surfaces, no visible forms of propulsion. So when we're trained and when we practice, we look for surface-to-air missiles, we look for other aircraft, and we train our scan in a way to look for paint schemes and identifying artifacts. We look for a smoke trail, we look for contrails, other things that will help us figure out what it is and where it's coming from and what its intent is. And in this particular case, we couldn't figure out any of that. And so we all got very excited on the radio, talking to each other amongst the flight, amongst the two aircraft, and the back and forth in the cockpit, and then to the controllers. So the air traffic controller in the area of our military exercise.
And just remember, the 2004 Nimitz UFO encounter that Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich is describing is probably the most credible UFO encounter of all time. Of all time, y'all. You had Commander David Fravor, who was part of the Top Gun program. Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich, her credentials are impeccable, right? And everyone else involved. There was radar. There was so many people. There was so many things that got it on video. I mean, this thing is so credible. Now, I'm not saying it's alien in origin, but something unidentified that two master pilots could not figure out what it was, right? And this is the only incident that they've ever had like this, right? And it just makes it all the more worthwhile of listening to, right? And coming back to every once in a while, which is why I wanted to cover this, because Alex is saying some things, I just hadn't heard before.
As I understand, and I could be mixing up the details, I understand that this object was off the surface of the water, more or less, and then there was a moment where it shot up to about 80,000 feet very quickly. Could you describe that moment?
So not only did it look strange and not have, it wasn't obvious how it was flying, because again, we look for wings and rudders and smoke trails and things that will help us understand which way is it going and how is it doing that. And then how can I get an advantage over it? Is it going to have a slow turn rate? How can I get angles to get a shot off if I need to? Not that we had live armament, not that we were off the coast of San Diego in a training mode, but we're always thinking about, can I shoot that down? Can I take that? And in that case, it wasn't clear what it was, and it really wasn't clear how it was maneuvering in the way that it was moving. So it was changing airspeed, it was changing direction, it was changing angles in a way that didn't make sense, and didn't adhere to our understanding of physics and gravity and all of the aerodynamics that we study and really live and die by, literally, in our aviation training.
Now, you said this thing was making turns and doing things like that. So, what kind of turns are we talking? Are we talking hard right angle turns?
So if you're turning, if you've ever driven a boat or just turning in your car, you have a turn radius that's required. It takes a while to actually move the vehicle or the vessel around. And it's the same thing in the air. We put a turn in, and then we can pull high G turns to make it a smaller turn radius, but there's a limit to that. And so when we talk about the envelope or pushing the envelope, It's literally a graph in our aerodynamics textbooks that you can see where this is the edge. If you turn this this amount of G and this amount of angle of attack, and if this is your weight and this is, you know, your configuration. And so we're very sensitive to that. And this UFO, unidentified flying object, didn't adhere to any of those rules. So it was really turning what to our naked eye visually looked to be instantaneously. It seemed to be changing airspeed and altitude and direction, just, you know, without having to go through the normal contortions that we normally have to go through, and the complicated ballet that we practice in our air combat maneuvering, our BFM, our basic fighting maneuvering, our dog fighting, which is, you know, it made us both alarmed and also really impressed in the moment to say, you know, what is that doing? How's it doing it? And I would like to be doing that.
So, will we ever find out what actually happened in 2004 around the USS Nimitz with Commander David Fravor and Alex Dietrich? I don't know, right? Every day that goes by, we're further away from the moment that happened, and any evidence or even witness testimony starts to degrade over time, right? We do have that famous video that got released, but will we ever know? I don't know. And remember, there was no official investigation into this. Why would you not do that? I just don't understand that at all. So maybe, just maybe, we can dig in and find out about this, because the sooner we do it, the better off we are. The longer we wait, the further away from the truth we are. All right, betters, hope you enjoyed today's video. We'll see you on the next one. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.